is $5. It's not that expensive, and they're going to really appreciate it.
So the big question is, what are the top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams, and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? If you ever thought about this, you're not alone. No one has been able to get the answers until now.
We spent the last few years helping agents sell billions in real estate, rubbing shoulders with top producers, which got us thinking, how can we expose more people to these insights to help raise the standard in the whole real estate industry? We then realized that we could help bridge the gap by getting the secrets from the best of the best so that you can succeed. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
With treating clients and referrals all well, I think this rolls nicely into, I know, the third thing that you wanted to discuss, which was like having really good, genuine customer service, bring in those referrals and just gather that repeat business, which ultimately compounds. So let's, I would love to know a little bit more about that from you.
Yeah. So we send them a magazine 4 times a year that we can sort of customize. We also send a monthly newsletter through our CRM. They get a monthly valuation report, and that comes right from us. They also get, through the CRM, a text and an email on their house anniversary, and then they get a send out card from us on their house anniversary. We also have, I use Folio for contract to close, which is, it's a shared timeline. So myself, my admin have it, and the client also has it. So the client can see the big dates, when they get keys, when they sign, all that good stuff. They don't see the back end reminders that we have, but we also get a reminder for a check-in 2 to 4 weeks after closing. So we'll call and say, how's the house? How is everything? Just be very intentional about that. We haven't done a client event the last couple of years as in-person things, but we've been wanting to do that. So hopefully we will get to do that. But yeah, if if they refer someone to you and you send them a card or coffee is on me, here's $5 to Starbucks, they really appreciate that. And I saw a statistic once, and it was, I think the number was about 25% of people know who their real estate agent was after 6 months, which totally blew my mind because we live and die for our clients when we're taking care of them, right? Like I probably haven't forgotten any of their names.
But you're also not the norm, okay?
Sure, yeah, but the follow up, and it's a $5 a Starbucks is $5. It's not that expensive, and they're going to really appreciate it. And even a handwritten card. Thank you so much for referring your friend. We're going to take great care of them. So yeah, the conversation is definitely different, because if you're coming into a brand new person that came in as an internet lead or through Facebook, they don't know you yet. So you have to kind of try to get to know them and build that trust and build that relationship. And it's going to work differently for all of them. Maybe it's 1 phone call. Maybe it's 2 years of follow-up emails. You never know.
One of the timeless business principles is it's far cheaper to keep a client than to acquire a new one, right? Mm-hmm. So what does 2 years of emails cost you, especially if you've built a sequence? And I'm sure you probably have built some type of sequence which helps, right? Along the way, it's not necessarily personalized each one. The cards will be, sure, but you even work out your time realistically over the whole 2 years, it's very low. It's a tiny amount of time in the grand scheme of things. And then let's say that commission is $7,000 to you, whatever it is, but let's say it's $7,000. It's like, okay, so I put in, say, 8 hours of work in 2 years to write all the emails, to send the card, to get the Starbucks voucher. And now I just made $7,000. Yeah, it took 2 years, but I've then got a great experience. What about their friends and family? What about their referrals that they can now give? It's like people have got to, we understand that some people need short-term cash, and there's a lot of short-term wins out there that you can get properties and sell them and all that stuff. I think working with investors can be one of the paths, but there's so many. But one of the big things is that people are short-sighted as well, which is a major issue, where one thing you've blatantly understood, because throughout every topic, the cohesive thing is it's a compound effect of everything I do. I've done it now and it's just grown, because now I've been doing it 5+ years. And it's like, it's just compounding every year, where now I'm sure, in fact, it'll be interesting. I'm going to ask, have you resold someone's house yet from your first years?
Yes.
There you go. So she sold the house and now has since subsequently resold the same property.
So one of the siblings just closed a couple weeks ago. There was basically the parents. I sold a townhouse to, and then their oldest son bought a condo, and then their middle son bought his first condo. And a few months ago, I sold the oldest son's condo again, and he's building a house. And then the other brother wanted to sell and move into a house. So that is
wow. Talk about LTV of a client.
That's like
in sales.
Wow.
From one referral. Yeah.
That's insane. So that's like, I don't know what your commissions are, but let's say it's 40 grand. It's like huge, just crazy that it's like one referral, treat them right. They then, brothers, sisters, mothers, sons, whatever it is, are all going to keep using you over and over again, which is awesome. And ultimately, what we've seen with a lot of the huge producers, the people doing hundreds of millions, some are, $500 million, $1 billion. It's they genuinely work on compound effect. We were speaking with someone last week who's going to do $1 billion this year, but he's been in the business 25 years. Right. And he was like, he's always done big numbers, similar to you. Like, even at the beginning, he was really pumping out numbers. But he's like, the reason I'm as big as I am now is 25 years of just doing this. So he's like, you end up reselling the same homes and working with the same people. And he's like, I've got 25 years of a database of people that I've sold all these houses to. Every year, I know I'm going to sell a bunch of these houses again from 5 years ago. And it's like, this is the compound effect of real estate. Treat them well, stay top of mind. It's like, you will literally have more business. This is what we find, which is kind of hilariously ironic with realtors. They get to a point where they go, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is now too much. And now they have tons of business because now they're just overloaded. And they're like, yeah, we want you to resell our home. And they're like, oh my God. Which we're now running into.
I don't have that problem yet, so if somebody does and they're in my area, call me.
That's where leverage comes in.
That's 100%. And it's interesting, actually. I know this wasn't, I would just like to touch on this, actually, because you mentioned you've already got a team and we didn't really speak about it. And what's interesting about that is you've done that very early on. And you've kind of gone, I want a team. I want that leverage. We speak to a complete variety. Some people are like you, where it's like, I want to leverage buyers, seller agents, and kind of get a lot more time to go into more of a leadership managerial style role. Some people hire like just assistants and they still do everything, but all the kind of legwork, paperwork and stuff is taken care of, but they're still doing the listings and the buys and sells and everything. And then some people are like, I'm going to do everything. Like, I'm a one-man band. Like, this is me. What made you want to go down there? Was it just leverage? Was it time freedom? What made you kind of go down there? I'm going to have a team right away, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I was at a point where it was going to be very difficult to do any more business alone. So, and then you kind of step back and say, okay, well, what makes sense? So while I was figuring it out, I used a transaction coordinator. So just someone you kind of pay per deal, contract to close. And then I looked at that and I said, okay, I mean, at this point, I'm essentially paying a salary. So, hiring a full-time person was pretty scary, but it was also, okay, I'm already putting in the time, I'm already putting in the funds for it. So, I took on a first team member and a paid admin at the same time, which if you're following the MREA model, they tell you not to do that. Get your admin first. So I did both at the same time. And that my concern there was, I didn't want to be that agent that took on a client and they felt like they never heard from me again after they went under contract. So I'm still telling them, you're going to hear from me and Sarah. I'm not going to go anywhere, but Sarah's going to do things like, remind you to call your utilities and things like that. And then the other agents came on pretty quickly. But the beautiful thing about our team is I was very considerate of making sure I brought on people that really strengthened where I am weak. So my admin, I hate Excel spreadsheets. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to deal with them. She went through all my email templates I already had and made them better. And she remembers everything I forget. We were at an event last night. I'm actually the president-elect for Women's Council of Realtors Northeast Ohio.
Amazing.
And she, I don't do a lot of dairy. She was like, do you need a lactate? I mean, she's like everything. She just remembers everything. And, you know, they all have these different amazing personality pieces that match with different clients that may not necessarily click with me. So we have such a good balance of personalities and skills. And that's been extremely helpful with our team.
Filling each other's gaps. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we hear, again, we always hear a spread, because I completely understand why you do what you do. And with so I'll tell you basically what we do. And it's not that we avoid that, because I actually love that model, because I think it gives like this very family-like culture where it's like you're all helping each other. And then you've got the opposite end, which is like the alpha top producers. They are like hunt, kill, eat, motherfucking, like, I'm going to rip your throat out. Now, I am naturally drawn towards those people because like I like being around people. I know this is going to sound kind of fucking crazy probably to people listening, but like I kind of want to be around people that like are really going after my throat in a weird way, because like that is how I see growth consistently.
It forces you to get out of your comfort zone too.
Yeah, I've got to be on my A game all the time. Like if I slip, they're coming for me, and but it doesn't build that cohesive culture that you have. Like it just doesn't, and I know that full well. Like it just doesn't, because each person essentially is out for themselves, right? Mm. But because you get around a lot of people that are like trying to get to the top, if someone's slacking, it's like you've just got this internal motivation. Like, I'm not going to let that motherfucker beat me. He is not beating me. This ain't happening today.
Competition with myself.
You have a competition with yourself. Yeah.
But I will, that being said, I always say I won't be the first person to bite, but I will bite back. So, you know, I look young, I sound young. I have a lot of agents on the other end that will try to kind of test me, and that'll flip a switch and I'll shut that down.
I love it. Carly, this has been amazing to really understand how you're doing different. And I was right at the beginning. I said you are the antithesis of the traditional agent. And while we're on, I did look it up and I was correct with that analogy. So for everyone listening, it was correct. It means you're the opposite of what is kind of the norm, which is true, which is what we do as well. Like all our stuff's through social as well. And we just believe this is the way real estate is going and trending. And it's nice to meet someone else who in 5 short years is a massive producer and has just leveraged new strategies to achieve it. And sounds like you've got an amazing team. I can't wait to see what you're going to do in 2022. So it's going to be amazing. We're going to have to follow back up and be like, Carly, did you hit your 200 mil? And then you're going to have to tell us. So you're getting held accountable.
Around 200 units.
200 units.
200 units. There you go.
You're on the podcast now saying 200 units. So you got the accountability here for all the thousands of people listening in. It's like, okay, let's see. 200 units. So I want to give you the floor. If people, I don't know, if you're looking for agents, maybe in your area, people want to buy, sell a home, people maybe want to get in touch. What's the best way? Email, phone, socials, website? Like tell people how they can reach out.
Yeah. So we're in Northeast Ohio. I personally am right in between Cleveland and Akron. We have agents on the west side. We have agents east. We have agents that go in Akron, Canton area. I even have one that covers Youngstown. So we've got a pretty wide spread. It is the Sablotny team on Instagram. I believe it's Carly Sablotny Realtor on Facebook, the business page. Personal page they want. Should I give out my number? Because it's always my cell phone.
That is totally up to you.
I don't know how many people end up calling. Well, it's Carly Sablotny Realtor at Gmail is my email address. It's usually
that's always a safe bet. We're laughing because you're so busy producing, you don't know your social media handles, which is absolutely A-okay, which just tells you that you focus on the most important, which is production and your team.
Yeah. Our website is neohomepros.com.
There we go. Perfect.
There you go.
Carly, it's been an absolute pleasure unpacking how you've done ridiculous volume in 5 years. And we can't wait to see what you're going to do. Everyone who's listening, we really hope you enjoyed this episode. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our courses and coaching programs, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.